Evening, everybody. It's 5:58 on this Valentine's Day afternoon, and this is your closing comment. It is video number 2076. So much as I hate to admit it, and I do, because I see this market as dramatically overbought. It looks like yesterday's action may have, in fact, been just another one day affair. We gained back a bit. Now, you know, in most places, less than half, but in some, a little bit more. And I was actually really surprised. Yesterday's action down 524 in the Dow, today up 151. The one that regained the most, though, it looks like, is the NASDAQ. It was down 268. Today it was up 203. And the S&P, same situation, down 68 yesterday, up 47 today. Down 81 in the Russell, up 48 in the Russell. And the transports really had a meager little rally of 38 points, which was less than 10% of yesterday's decline. But, the volume seemed to be okay. It was 5.1 billion. That was less than yesterday. But if you recall, yesterday I said that the market internals were at peak numbers, really generally blowout numbers. I mean, we were 10 to 1 down in the NYSE, and today we were basically 4 to 1 up. In the Russell, we were 2 to 1 down today. 5 to 1 down. Today we were, I'm going to say, 5 to 2. So, kind of interesting. But again, the volume was a little lighter. But let's go, and I want to show you the oil chart. This is the weekly, and I've pointed this out repeatedly. This green line, the 200-week moving average, has been really the stopper. Today, we started higher. I'm going to switch here to the daily and show you what I'm talking about. Today, we got all the way up at the highs to 78.77, which is very close to these tops. This one is 79.65. This one is 79.60. This one was 79.29. Today, 78.77. But we ran right into this red line, which is the 100-day moving average. I really would have liked to have seen a better close, but we closed on the bottom. Now, that doesn't break this. But there is a fairly major divergence. Here's the MACD, which rolled over and started to go to the downside on the daily. When we switch over to the weekly, you can see it's running along the bottom and looking on a longer term basis as if it's going to cross back to the upside. So I'm kind of torn. Here are those tops again. That's 965, 960, 929, and today's 877. So this is kind of betwixt and between. In point of fact, I'm actually thinking about a position in Devon Energy, DVN, because I think that the long term for energy remains positive. And Devon, unlike most of the others, has a fairly decent stake in Nat Gas. And frankly, Nat Gas, which was down another 8 cents today, looks like it goes down 8 cents every single day, is down at 3.5 year lows. So there's a seasonal for that in here, and I think that may come into play. So, I'm just going to watch this. I'm certainly not going to get short. Um, but if we get back down to this 72 and a half, 73 along that bottom, I'm going to have to be a buyer again. The other chart I want to show you is the Bitcoin, which has just been phenomenal. Remember, I talked about getting into the BITX, which is um, the triple Bitcoin ETF. Uh, and you can see here, this is the weekly, which is interesting in and of itself. This is the 3-year weekly. You can see what we've done. In this, we had this reversal week right back into closing this gap, which I talked about repeatedly, and getting into support, the last important breakout. We rallied up and came back down right into that area. And since then, we've had 3 weeks of higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, etc. Except that we haven't left any gaps in this. A look at the daily shows you a little better picture of how extended we are. Um, this is basically parabolic from this level in here, 4,300, all the way up to 52,400 today. So there you go. As far as stocks go, we did have a bunch of earnings after the bell: Cisco, Twilio, and JFrog. So I'm going to have to see. The Cisco was a beat, but they gave really poor guidance going forward. So the stock had closed at 50.25, up 61 cents at regular hours. And then on the headline news, the stock moved up as high as 50.77, and then down to 46.90. The last is 47.58. That's down 206 or 4.2%. Twilio also had a beat. The stock had closed 72.34, up 304, made a new high of 74.79, turned down to 73.16. The last is pardon me, that's 63.16. The last is 65.56. That's down 374 or 5.4%. And JFrog, FROG, that one had a beat and good guidance. It had closed 37.13, up 138, made a new high of 43.95. The last is 42 and a quarter, and that's up $6.50 or 18%. So that's a pretty darn nice move. Okay, tomorrow, economic numbers. We have a really full day. We start with initial claims and continuing claims at 8:30. Also at 8:30, retail sales, import and export prices, Empire State Manufacturing Index, and Philly Fed. Um, those are all market movers. At 9:15 before the open, we have industrial production and capacity utilization. At 10 o'clock, we have business inventories, NAHB housing market index, and at 10:30 we have the nat gas inventories. And then at 4 o'clock, when the market's closed, we have net long-term TIC, tick flows. That is foreign investment in our treasuries. And I've started to focus on that, even if the rest of Wall Street has not, because with the amount of debt that we're going to be issuing, I think that that's a really important number. And of course, on Friday, we have housing starts, building permits, PPI, core PPI, and University of Michigan consumer sentiment. So there you go, folks. I hope you all remembered your flowers or dinner reservations or even just a card. Otherwise, you're in deep trouble. Have a good evening. I'll be back in the morning.